And a very warm welcome back. Salarah here. I'm so excited to be with you today. Thank you for taking the time to join me. Today, we are going to be exploring something that I believe is at the very core of every single dream that becomes our reality. We're going to be chatting around 2 character traits that will absolutely make all the difference between simply wishing for change and then actually living it, actually breathing it, embodying it, and experiencing it. So whether you like to call it manifestation or personal development, consciousness expansion, cognitive enhancement, I love all of them, or you're just simply trying to create a life that feels more meaningful, then these 2 character traits will always sit at the center of your transformation. And the first one that I'm noticing with a lot of my clients at the moment is consistency. The second one we'll go into in the second part of the show, and it's quite often overlooked actually. And this is the one which is self-honesty, but we're going to start with consistency. In my experience, transformation rarely arrives as this lightning bolt moment where all of a sudden everything slots into place and we just start to run with everything and all of our dreams come to us easily and effortlessly. But it does unfold through devotion. It unfolds through consistency. It unfolds through small conscious choices which are repeated with love and joy and care and repetition. So whether that's every nourishing meal that you cook yourself, whether it's the 5 minutes you give yourself to breathe and be present instead of doom scrolling, or every single moment that you pause to notice what you're feeling instead of stuffing it down and running away from it, I can tell you through decades of experience that none of these steps are small. Each one tells your subconscious mind, I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm showing up for you. As Tony Robbins says, you've got to have your skin in the game. So every single time you show up, you are showing up. And on a subconscious level, that's conveying a very, very powerful message. And this is why consistency is one of the most important and very powerful tools that we have, because our outer reality, it's going to mirror our inner emotional state. So when we start choosing differently, whether it's resting more, mindful walks, whether it's doing a breathwork practice instead of having the glass of wine, our reality is a reflection of what is going on inside of us. It does take a bit of time for the external to catch up with what is going on internally, and this is where a lot of people tend to give up. So it's important to remember that your energy is always going to move first, and then your outward reality will always follow. But most people give up just before the miracle happens. They plant this amazing seed and super enthusiastic about it to start with. But when nothing happens and nothing seems to sprout right away, then they give up. They lose interest. They think it's not working. They walk away. But growth doesn't happen on demand like that. But what it does do is it does happen gradually with care and with consistency. So you plant the seed, you water the seed, and because you planted the seed and you're watering the seed, you're trusting that that seed is going to grow. But at first, there's absolutely nothing visible, and you're watching that soil and you can't see anything happening. Yet beneath the surface, those roots are starting to form. And eventually, with consistent watering and consistent care, you're going to notice tiny green shoots starting to appear. They might be fragile, but they're absolutely going to be there and they're going to be alive. And if you keep nurturing it, if you keep watering it, if you protect it from elements, it's going to grow stronger. But if you stop watering it and you're not protecting it from the elements, it's going to wither. It's going to die. It's going to wither. And then you got to start all over again. And that's what consistency is going to do in your manifesting practice. It keeps life moving. It keeps it moving beneath the surface, even when you can't see the results. It's a muscle that strengthens each time you use it and weakens every single time you don't. So it's a bit like going to the gym. You spend that time and you're putting your time and effort into building this muscle. And just because you don't see the results within a couple of weeks, you give up. You make excuses why not to go. Exactly the same thing. And the good news is is you can absolutely build it one small act at a time. It doesn't have to be this big overhaul of your life where you're ramming and cramming everything in and you're just setting yourself up for overwhelm and feeling a failure. And maybe instead of collapsing into bed, and this is what I was doing for a little while before I caught myself. So I want to add to that in a moment, actually. So instead of collapsing into bed and doom scrolling and watching all these reels and what the neighbor's doing and what somebody you don't even know is doing on the opposite side of the world, instead of that, you spend 5 quiet minutes doing a breath work of some sort, a visualization of some sort, do some journaling, do some scripting, writing down 3 things that you're grateful for and why you're grateful for them. Or maybe you replace one of those rushed meals with something where you can be present and you can actually taste the food and it feels like a nourishing experience. Or maybe you use your commute to and from work to listen to an audiobook, something uplifting, just anything, instead of replaying your worries over and over and over in your head. And by the time you get to wherever you're going, just feeling stressed and wrung out like a sponge. Because it's tried and tested that these micro shifts, they might seem insignificant to you in the moment, but I promise you, over time, they rewire your entire energy field. And these small steps, they are absolutely what set you up for success. These big, dramatic overalls that we sometimes think that we want, but actually quite often they just lead to feelings of burnout, overwhelm, they're unsustainable. Your nervous system does not thrive on extremes, I can tell you that. But it does thrive when it finds safety in the steady, consistent momentum. So when you bring gentle, consistent changes into your everyday life, they stop being effort and they start becoming who you are. If you think about the film Groundhog Day, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's a very old film, but the message is really important, especially speaking to consistency. He wakes up in the same reality every single day. This alarm goes off. He has to dodge the same puddle. The same person on the street stops him to say hello over and over again. And you can feel his pain. It's like this rinse, recycle, and repeat painstaking process he's in. But he starts to realize that actually he can inject consciousness into his day. And just by doing one thing differently every single day, it completely changes the outcomes that he's experiencing. So it's similar to this. It's not like overnight he wakes up and his life completely changes. But small, consistent steps, a year later, or however long it was in the film, his life completely changed for the better. So these consistent steps is when your outer reality is going to begin to mirror the energy that you've cultivated inside of you. Now, I want to mention, just like I did with a little seed where you protect it from the elements, it's also really important to protect your dreams. And those early stages of your dreams, they are very tender. And just like the seed might need light and it might need nourishment and care, it also absolutely needs protection. So you're not going to go and put it out in the frost where either a wild animal can dig it up or it's going to just die or the wind is going to blow it over. Your dreams need protection exactly the same, because in the early stages, they are delicate. So when you do have a new dream and something that you are aiming for and you want to create a new goal, remember in these early stages, it is still taking root, and it's not always wise to share this, especially not too soon. The moment that you end up telling somebody what your dream is, you tell them what you're working on and what you're creating, you're opening up a portal, if you like, want of a better word, for negative energy. And it's not that these people will purposefully wish you or your dreams harm, but they bring their fears, they bring their conditioning, they bring their limiting beliefs. And as a result of it, they could get you doubting yourself and they can inject some of their negativity into your process. So it is important to protect your dreams, especially in the early stages, because if these people don't believe in your vision, it can create doubt in you and in your abilities. And like I said, it's not like people purposefully want to wish you harm or that they don't want the best for you. It's just everybody sees life through a completely different lens. Everyone has their own set of filters, shaped by their own limitations. So choose carefully. Of course, you can share your dreams with someone close to you, with your coach or somebody that you know is into similar things and optimistic and understands the process of creating your own reality. So you tell people who are believers, people who hold your vision with you and who are there in your corner. They're there for you. They're not against you. So in those early delicate stages, your dream is also learning to trust you. And if this is new to you, this is a whole new world that is opening up to you. It's also you learning to trust yourself and learning to trust your abilities and learning to trust the universe or God or whatever it is you believe in with this co-creation of your reality. So keep watering your seeds. Keep watering them quietly and lovingly and believing and trusting, and let it go strong enough to withstand outside energy before you invite too many other people in. And this isn't about being secret or lying or dishonest. It's about energetically protecting something that is important to you. I've just had a thought that may be useful to you if you haven't heard me mention it so far. I created a free ebook. It's called Your Energetic Reset. So if you're ready to bring your energy back into alignment and to create momentum from a real grounded, solid place, then you can download your energetic reset. It's absolutely free. I wrote it specifically to help you reconnect, realign, and heal, but also to move forward with confidence and clarity in your journey. So let's now have a look at the next one, this is a really interesting one and so important. So this is self-honesty, and this is alignment's quiet superpower. So if consistency is what keeps the wheel turning, what is self-honesty then? Self-honesty is what keeps it moving in the right direction. So what do I mean by that? So you can be endlessly consistent. You can be showing up, working hard. You can be ticking all the boxes. But if those actions that you are taking are rooted in any kind of fear or need or desperation or needing validation or people pleasing, I'll say that again, people pleasing or old outdated patterns, then you're going to just keep creating more of what you don't want because your energy is going to speak louder. But growth doesn't happen on demand. We've already alluded to this. It unfolds when the foundation is steady and when the foundation is ready. So when you can tell yourself the absolute truth, even the uncomfortable truth about what's really motivating your choices, what's really motivating you in some of the decisions that you're making day to day, that's when the game is going to change. Like, are you showing up from a place of excitement and desire to expand, or are you showing up from a survival that you must do this because you've got to pay this bill, or you might feel like time is running out. There's some kind of energy behind it. Or are you showing up because you just feel totally inspired and it feels right and it feels good? Or are you showing up because you're feeling obligated, because you're feeling like you have to do it, you should do it, you must do it, all those kind of heavy feelings? Are you showing up because you're curious about the outcome? Are you showing up because you're enjoying the process? Or are you showing up because you need to control the situation? Are you showing up from a place of trusting your path? Or are you showing up from the pressure to prove something to yourself, to prove something to other people? Or are you showing up from genuine desire or the need to be validated? Are you showing up from a sense of possibility? Okay, this is interesting. This is possible. Or the fear of, well, what happens if I don't succeed? And then you push even harder to try and make it happen. Or perhaps from the version of you that's creating the future that you want, or the version of you that's desperately trying to fix what happened in the past. Could be that you're showing up from alignment because something feels true and good. Or maybe it's an attachment to something that looks safe. You might want to ask yourself, am I showing up from fullness, or am I showing up from emptiness, hoping that something outside will finally fill this gap? Fill this gap of not feeling good enough. Fill this gap of feeling lonely. So self-honesty isn't about judging yourself. It's not about shaming yourself, but it is about awareness. It's about being able to catch yourself when you're kind of quote unquote doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. For example, maybe you're self-employed and you're posting online every single day because you've been told that that's what successful people do and that's what success requires. But deep down, you're exhausted. You don't really know what to do. You're not really enjoying it. You're feeling completely disconnected from your message. Or maybe you're saying yes to opportunities that on paper, yeah, that looks really good. But actually something feels off, or it might feel heavy energetically to you. You might even be reaching for new goals, not because they light you up, not because they inspire you and make you feel excited and alive, but because slowing down feels absolutely unsafe. And that's fear, by the way, disguised as productivity. And that's old programming, and it's old programming running the show. And this is where self-honesty is really important, because it can absolutely change everything. Because if you're doing something that you don't really want to do, you're just ticking a box, you feel you have to, or you're looking for some kind of validation inside of it, your energy is going to be misaligned. It's going to keep you on, or in, shall I say, the old program. But if you're able to become aware of those moments and pause and connect to the awareness around, is this really true for me? Is this something that feels right for me? Is this something that feels aligned? Am I doing it to get something out of it? Am I doing it because I'm scared or because I'm worried? Or am I doing it because this feels really good and it feels exciting and it feels true for me? Because sometimes the bravest thing that you can do for the manifestation of your dreams is to absolutely become aware of those and stop. Stop forcing. Stop pretending it's working when it isn't. Stop putting a smile on your face, pretending everything's okay, but underneath thinking, what am I doing here? Whether it's work, whether it's friendships, whether it's hobbies, whatever it might be. My message is to stop being loyal to the version of you that's just trying to survive. Yeah, you can have love and compassion for that version, but the more you keep listening to it, the more you're going to experience the reality that you want to get out of. And when you can tell yourself the truth about something, you can absolutely then course correct. It may not be easy. Many times on my journey, I've realized I've been doing things that are part of the old version of me, and I've just continued to do it because I've been scared to let go, because I don't know what's going to fill the space. But the energy that I've continued on has kept me limited. It's kept my energy low and flat and out of integrity and misaligned. There's been connections with people that have no longer felt nourishing and uplifting, but instead they start feeling heavy and weighty and draining. And being completely honest with myself in those situations and closing certain connections down was really difficult. It wasn't something that I wanted to do, but I knew that it was absolutely imperative for that self-honesty and being in alignment and living a life that lights me up and feels joyful. So I'm here to let you know that you can absolutely do that. And actually, the version of you that you're becoming requires you to do this, requires you to become aware, requires you to pivot in those moments. So you can absolutely take aligned action rather than reactive fear-based action. And that, my friends, is when you're going to start seeing results. That's when your magnetism starts becoming positively electric. And this is when what you desire comes to you with a lot more ease, because the universe is absolutely going to respond to your truth vibration, not your tick box, soulless, mechanical performance. It doesn't match the words that you speak. It matches the energy that you are emitting. The energy that you are coming from determines where you are going. So self-honesty is what clears the static in your signal. It clears that scrambling, that mixed message that we're sending out to the universe. And this is what then makes your consistency mean something. it gives it energy, it gives it power. So instead of it being that mindless, numbing tick box experience, it now has energy inside of it. And that's where the magic absolutely happens. So consistency and self-honesty, they're absolutely partners. Think of them as the masculine and feminine of creation. We absolutely need to have both aspects. Think of the masculine as the riverbed, which holds the feminine, which is the water that can flow. One without the other, it just simply doesn't work. So consistency is the structure. It's the rhythm. It's the daily devotion that keeps energy moving. So think about some of your practices that you're doing at the moment. If you already have an established practice, whether it's breath work, journaling, visualization, scripting, listening to music, praying, meditating, whatever it might be, ask yourself what energy you are bringing to that practice. If it's a tick box, I would just stop doing it until you can realign your energy. I'm excited about getting into my practice today. I'm excited that I get to calm my nervous system. I'm excited that I get to create my reality. I'm excited that I get to take the helm of my ship and steer my ship to where I want to go. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about being the creator of my reality. Because remember, you are the author of your book. And from this moment onward, you get to write that. So you can keep the energy moving with self-honesty and awareness in your transactions, in your practices, because self-honesty is the awareness. This is the feminine aspect of it. It's the intuition. It's the feeling. It's the meaning. It's the truth that keeps everything aligned. And one without the other, it just leads to imbalance. So consistency without honesty, it just becomes fear-based control. And honesty without consistency becomes utter chaos. So when you bring them together, you create momentum with direction, action which is rooted in truth, effort guided by joyful intuition, and this is going to be progress that actually feels good in your system and leaves you feeling alive. And that is the sweet spot. That's where manifestation stops being a mental exercise and becomes being an embodied way of living. So if you'd like to take a little bit of a deeper dive and you haven't downloaded my free energetic reset, there's so many things in there that will absolutely help you and point you in the right direction on your own journey, how you can release some of the blocks, how you can up your game. It's going to help you clear some of that static and help you find your center and get you back into your flow so your action finally matches the energy of what you're calling in. I'll pop the link of that in the show notes, as well as some other links, which I'll share with you at the end of the episode. So here it is about getting honest with yourself. If you really want to work with this, there are a few questions that you can sit with. Again, I'll put these in the show notes so that you can journal on them in your own time. And having these in your awareness, I think is going to be really important. So number one, which parts of my routine feel heavy or forced? Like I'm just doing a tick box exercise. Number two, where in my day do I find myself saying, oh, I have to, or I should, rather than I choose to, I'm excited about, I get to. And number three, what actions feel productive on the surface, but secretively just leave you feeling flat and just drain you? And the last one, what would I still be doing if no one ever saw or praised me for it? I'll pop another little bonus one in the show notes as well for you. I think you're going to like that one. But these questions, what they do is they're going to start to pull the truth to the surface of your experience. They're going to show you where you're operating on mechanical autopilot and where your energy actually wants to start flowing. So I'm excited to hear if you have any feedback and you want to let me know via WhatsApp, DM me on Instagram, email me salarah@salarahstar.com. In fact, having your feedback and your questions is a great help to me, and also how I can serve you best, what kind of content you would like from me going forward as well. I'd much appreciate that too. So I'm going to leave you with 3 tips as well, because I think these tips are super, super important. And tip number 1 is to absolutely make sure that you create from fullness, bringing this full, excited, expanded, I get to create my reality energy into your practices instead of that kind of empty, mechanical one I was speaking about. It's about really bringing intentional energy into what you're doing. So let every single action hold a meaning. For example, if you're clearing out a drawer in your home, you can see it. It doesn't just have to be clearing out a drawer just to get it done. It can be a symbolic act. What I do is I see it as clearing out some of my old programming, clearing out a space in my subconscious mind, clearing out an old part of me. Or if you're going for a walk, that it's not just a walk just to either get your lymphatic system flowing or to have some cardiovascular, but it's a way of getting stagnant energy moving through your body, stagnant energy moving through your life. And when you infuse ordinary actions with purpose, they stop feeling like chores and they start becoming rituals that absolutely realign you. And the next tip number 2, is redefine what consistency means for you. So consistency, it's not about being perfect. It's not about mechanical. It's not about rigidity. It's about energy. It's about care. It's the seed of a plant that doesn't grow with sporadic watering, but it also doesn't thrive under strain either. It grows through consistent attention and the energy you bring to it. So when you water a real plant, you don't just pour it and walk away. You water the plant, you notice the soil, you check the light, you bring presence to the moment. You may be able to do that if you have plants. I love plants. If you have plants in your home, each plant can be dedicated to one of your dreams. You could even go out and buy a plant or seeds, even better, and actually name that seed as one of your dreams and grow that seed and bring that seed up so it pops through the soil like we've been speaking about today. But that plant is symbolic of a specific dream. So every single time you water that, every single time you speak nicely to it, I know that sounds a bit odd, but for those of you who know that actually the energy you bring to the watering of a plant, it actually helps them to grow healthier and stronger. In fact, there was an IKEA experiment where they had 2 plants outside of IKEA and they got school children to walk past one of the plants and to feed it with negative thoughts like, you're no good, you're going to amount to nothing and such like. And then the other plant, it's like, look at you, you're beautiful, you're powerful, you're going to create something amazing, you're growing beautifully. And that particular plant, not only did it grow about a foot taller, you can have a look online, this is actually something you can Google, but it was full and vibrant, whereas the other one was stunted in its growth and its leaves looked dull. You can bring that energy to your actual plants, which is what I do. But each plant you can dedicate to one of your dreams. This is how growth works in our life too. So it's not just about the action itself, it's the energy that you bring when you show up. And tip number 3, turn process into presence. So it's not just this numbing, automated, robotic experience. So whatever your goal or dream that you're nurturing, find ways to enjoy the process as much as the outcome. The moment you stop racing to get there and you stop pushing and forcing and you start engaging with what's in front of you, you enjoy the process leading up to your manifestation. You begin to anchor your manifestation in the present moment because your energy right now is determining what you're going to experience in the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. And enjoying the journey, and it might sound a bit cliche, but it's actually what tells the universe that you're already living in alignment with what you're calling in. And that in itself brings it a lot quicker. So my lovely ones, we're coming to the close of this episode today. If it's resonated with you, please share it with somebody that you feel really needs to hear this right now. That their small, consistent steps really do matter. And that being honest with themselves is the highest form of self-love and self-respect that they could possibly give to themselves. I'd also love it if you could leave a quick review. It makes such a difference in helping the podcast reach more people. And I would also like to mention that if you'd like to support the show, there is a link in the show notes where you can contribute to help these conversations flow, which I absolutely love this time with you. And if you feel called to make a contribution, that would mean the absolute world to me. You can also find guided meditations and affirmations to help you stay consistent in your practice, help you reprogram your brain, help you relax your nervous system, all the good stuff over on Insight Timer. It's a platform I've been present on for many, many years. I was actually quite surprised to see that there was 57,000 downloads of one of my meditations. I only just found that out the other day. I'm like, wow, I love it. Or you can visit Salarah at salarahstarre.com and you can explore the one-to-one coaching if you would like deeper support. But the most important thing is just be consistent in showing up. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, transformation doesn't happen through force. It happens through rhythm, consistency, fun, and joy, and your truth, being honest with yourself, and of course, devotion. So until next time, I look forward to being back with you. And in the meantime, take care of yourself, and I will see you soon.